Well, talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook was just with us and gave us the latest on the saga.
Well, the latest is pretty grim reading, I think, for Newcastle fans. We reported yesterday Manchester United had finally come to the table with a rival bid to Newcastle's offer, actually worth slightly less than what Newcastle are prepared to pay, 75 million euros plus 10 million euros in add-ons. And I think once this offer went in, Newcastle fans feared the worst because the brief coming out of Old Trafford, excuse me, was that Manchester United would only bid once they got buy-in from the player. And I've been told this morning Newcastle pretty resigned now to the fact that Šeško only wants to join Manchester United. No agreement between the two clubs yet, but they're working on that. But I'm told Newcastle will move on to alternative targets. Another blow for Eddie Howe. There's been a few deals that got a long way down the line that Newcastle haven't quite been able to pull off this summer.
Yeah, so Benjamin Šeško, hot property, obviously. But listening there, it was Kevin Hatchard, wasn't it, right at the beginning? He's talking about somebody who is not the finished product and is a bit rough around the edges, and we're talking £80 million.
I know, we're talking a lot of money. We certainly are. He's I mentioned, Jeff, he's very good technically, but still has plenty to do. You know, the debate with Newcastle and Man United, is there a club out there in the Premier League that adores their centre forward more than Newcastle United? Is there one? Look, every team and every fan loves to see their main man, their centre forward playing for their team. But Newcastle, you know, have a history, a tradition almost of absolutely going so overboard about their strikers. They are gods. They are gods. They are,
you know, Malcolm McDonald, Les Ferdinand,
Correct.
Alan Shearer, Alexander Isak. They are gods. They are adored by the Newcastle faithful.
They are. So look, if again, Manchester United is incredibly difficult to ignore purely because of everything that has gone on there previously. Right now, if you are a young up-and-coming striker and you are looking, if you really believe you can get to the absolute very, very top and you wanted to go and play, I tell you, Newcastle is a very exciting place to go and play your football. It really is. Finances, I don't know. Look, United, again, may well have offered the sort of money that he's looking at and he's staring at, and he feels like he can't turn that down. And by the way, if he goes to Man United and starts knocking a few goals in, Jeff, they've had an history of adoring their strikers too. But I'm the more I think about it, for a young man at 22, still with lots of time on his side, Newcastle is not anything to turn your nose up at. It really isn't. So we'll see. I'm sure he's agonising over the call. It looks like he's favouring Manchester United, but until it's done, you never know.
If I'm paying £80 million, I'm wanting the finished product. Thank you very much indeed. And if he's not, well, he could be in for a difficult season with that sort of price tag hanging around the neck of a very young man still. He's only 22 and he's not got a massively prolific goal scoring record.
No.
14 and 13 in the last two Bundesliga seasons. Not bad, but not pulling up trees when you think of the goals. Paying for a better club. Think of the goals that Harry Kane, for example, has scored. But admittedly, at a club that creates a lot more opportunities.
He might be very excited, Jeff, at the prospect of playing in and around the likes of Bruno Fernandes, of Cunha now, of Mbeumo. There are other people, other big money signings have also come through the door. So he wouldn't be going there with absolutely all eyes just on him if he goes to Old Trafford. That, I think, is. But
the same can be argued for Newcastle. He'd be playing with Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak and Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton.
He'll be immediately compared to Isak, who is regarded by many as pretty much the best out there right now. So look, it's what a lovely position to be in, first and foremost. What a great position for a young man to be in, that you're coveted by two clubs with a real tradition of having great strikers.
Yeah. Let's get to the phone line, shall we? 03717 223344. Why is Newcastle still considered a feeder club by so many? Isn't it a more attractive proposition for players? They're in the Champions League for a start. Look at Alexander Isak and his development at the club compared to the likes, if you like, of Rasmus Hojlund and Joshua Zirkzee. Let's take a call. Andy is a Newcastle fan. Morning, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Andy.
So, Andy, what do you make of it all? Why is Newcastle regarded by some as a feeder club?
I don't think we're a feeder club. I think the press like to make out we are. I think there's a simple reason why players are choosing other clubs this summer, and it's wages. we can't compete wages-wise. Our top earners are on 120, 150, and they're wanting double that. Even like Brian and Bremo got 250 to go to Man United. Sesko has probably been offered 50%, maybe he's 100% more than we can give him. It's a no-brainer that he's going to choose Man United over us because, unfortunately, everyone goes to work to make money.
Yeah, they do. They do. And you understand that, don't you? You're offered, but sometimes maybe you have to take the longer view and look at which club might be better for you in the long term.
Well, why would you choose Man United, which is a basket case club, over Newcastle? It's definitely not geographically. We've got Champions League football. We've got 52,000 people in there every week screaming at you and adoring you. Man United's on the way down. We're on the way up.
I tell you, if they showed Bruno after he won the League Cup, and if they showed Bruno, do you remember him out? I mean, like literally in tears out there on the field.
He's a different player altogether, a different character. If someone came in and even offered him more money, he wouldn't go.
No.
He's bought into the club. We've always said Isaac would go when someone came in for him because he looks like that type of player.
Right.
And if he doesn't want to be there, let him go. But I think it's get to the point now where he's going to be told, you're staying for another year, and then you can move on. And then it gives us time to assess who's out there, what we can bring in. Maybe find someone younger who's up and coming and take a chance on them. But I think it's to the point now where he's going to have to be told, you're going nowhere.
Just quickly, Andy, because we got a whole lot of calls lined up. How would the fans react to that if he stayed?
I couldn't tell you. You'll find out on Monday night against Liverpool. We're live on the telly, won't you? It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
We'll be cheering. Me and my boy will be cheering him. But
Good lad.
I couldn't see it for everyone else.
Yeah. Andy, thank you very much
Thanks,
indeed. Kelvin's a Tottenham fan. He wants to have his say. Morning, Kelvin.
Morning, guys. Great show as always.
Thank you.
Just with regards, I was involved on the fringes at Newcastle in a job that I did quite a few years ago. And the problem then, and I think it's still their problem now, is from a player point of view, they're too far away from London. And I think this is going to plague them for a long time. If Šeško goes to Manchester United, it's a 1-hour private plane flight from the centre of London, happy days. If he goes to Newcastle, it's that bit further away. Now, I love Newcastle for its nightlife and everything else, but it is just that bit too far away from London, and I think this is the problem they've got.
Aren't they all flying around in private jets these days, these guys? No matter where, they needed a little airfield somewhere local and they can get anywhere.
Oh, yeah, they are, but it's that extra 1 hour. I know it sounds silly.
Wait, look, whoa. It doesn't take 2 hours to fly from Newcastle to London with the best will in the world, Kelvin.
By the time they've got to the private airstrip there, by the time they've taken off, by the time they've got to London and landed, you're talking 2 hours. Whereas in Manchester, you're talking an hour. And the players used to say it themselves when we were around Newcastle, that the problem is we're too far away from London. And that's why your Andros Townsends and your John Joe Shelbys will join them, because they're still playing Premier League football at the back end of their career. But somebody at the beginning of their career, it's not as attractive. Don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing Newcastle as a city at all. I'm just speaking out from a player's perception point of view.
A factor maybe, Jeff. Thanks, Kelvin. A factor maybe, but not a priority. I don't think in terms of its proximity to London.
Yeah. Jill's texted. She's after this negative narrative around United. I really hope Šeško chooses us. Well, it's not negative, Jill, because Andy was saying a moment or two ago about Manchester United. They worship their centre forwards. They worship their strikers as well. It's realistic. Look at where Manchester United finished last season. Look at where Newcastle United finished this season. Look at what Newcastle have got to look forward to in terms of Champions League. So it is realistic. I know you're not feeling well again today, Jill, so hope you get better soon. Let's have a quick word with Ian, who's a Middlesbrough fan. He wants to have his say about why clubs in the North East all seem to be feeder clubs. Morning, Ian. Ian, good morning to you. Oh, well, we seem to have lost Ian, but there you go.
There you go, beep, beep. There's that.
Yeah, he's given us the pip, isn't he? Yeah, absolutely. Ian, I don't buy the stuff. I don't buy Kelvin's stuff about saying, Newcastle is that much farther away than Manchester. He said private jet. He says it's 2 hours from Newcastle. It's an hour from Manchester, thereby disregarding the fact that whether you're in Newcastle or Manchester, you still got to get the airport or the airstrip.
Yes.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
So.
Of course, there's always going to be a lure. The genuine bigger cities that we have, London and Manchester, Liverpool, etc. But I don't think anybody can disregard what's going on at Newcastle, and in terms of everything up there right now, it's a very exciting place to go and potentially play your football.
And they have a fantastic manager who I think a lot of players would love to play for. That Newcastle-Liverpool game is live and exclusive. Andy mentioned it. It's live and exclusive on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.